Hi, Yahne.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Greetings from Asia. My name is Nicolette. I am the creator of the podcast titled You're Worthless. Read that again. The juxtaposition of your very soul. First off, thank you very much for saying yes to be interviewed today. And when I read your profile, the story that you wrote in your biography, it's something that I said, okay, I definitely resonate with her and I definitely need to get her on the show. So welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yes, yes, the pleasure is all mine. So, Yane, I'd like to read a bit of your introduction for our listeners today, and then we can get right into business. So, hello everyone, we have Yane Sneed with us. Yane discovered her true self when she challenged the perspectives that life presented to her. She embraced the words of her favorite poet, Maya Angelou, and realized the phenomenal woman within herself. However, it took time for Yane to fully grasp the deep meaning of self love and accept her imperfections. Growing up, Yane experienced abuse and a lack of love from her family, which made it difficult for her to truly love herself. Now, Yane encourages everyone to embrace their authentic selves and strives to make the world a better place. Her motto is, "It's not what they tell you, it's what you tell yourself." With a background in social work, she understands that starting from the beginning when everything doesn't make sense is the way to heal not only internally but also one's present reality. Yana has a passion for making sure that everyone knows they have a purpose and are meant to be here to make a difference. Welcome, Yana. Wow. I love that. I love that.
I so love
for
your
those
spirit.
listening for those listening, why we're cackling is because just prior to the start of the interview, we were discussing that I'm from Malaysia, the host, and she mentioned that her daughter's name is Malaysia too. So I cannot believe the parallel. It is just a sign from God. We are meant to be talking today, and from this
Yes,
moment forward, it means a relationship has been forged, right? I don't know what thousand
absolutely.
miles apart. So
Yes.
yes, so let us hear from Yane. Yane, please tell us what was it like growing up as Yane Sneed?
Yeah, growing up as Yahne was very difficult. I had many challenges in life. I had been through a lot of traumatic experiences, being emotionally and mentally abused, being sexually abused by my dad. There were a lot of things that I had to go through in order to ground myself and find my purpose and identity. So it was definitely a struggle throughout my middle school and high school years, up until I transitioned from high school to college, where I started being into this mentorship program where I was using my pain and struggles and challenges to help someone else overcome any of their adversities. And I started seeing sparks of my purpose and my belonging. So I leaned into that more and I started going to social work before I started my actual career, which was life coaching, because I didn't even know that existed. So I went into social work. It was a blast. It was challenging in college because this was the moment where all hands is off deck, that you have to do it by yourself now. You have to be your own independent woman, and I didn't know how to really function in that world because no one really teach you how to swim. They just teach you how to just go into the ocean and hope you survive. And that's kind of how I felt, that I was building up my strength and my tenacity and my resilience, because I was dealing with my own personal issues and also dealing with trying to stay in school because I was going to drop out because it was just so overwhelming. But it reached a point in college where I started challenging all those negative self thinking and sabotaging that I was doing, and I ultimately graduated, and I really feel accomplished by that. During that whole time of after I graduated, I still had a lot of personal development to do. Just because I started challenging my negative thoughts, I wasn't fully there. So after college, I had some time to really be one with myself, learn myself more, and try to grow throughout all my challenges. And in 2022, I started my business called Relentless Phoenix, where it's all about life coaching and keynote speaking, where I'm giving back to the community. I'm shining some light on them, helping them to remember who they are, which is about human first, and really just learning and growing from your mistakes and growing wisdom, and just helping them find their purpose and identity so they can score in life, and just building up their resilience and mental clarity so you can definitely be transformative in yourself and within the community. And that's what I'm doing now, mix of other projects, but that's my main focus, really just trying to get others to understand that they're worthy of being all they can be when it comes to life.
Wow. Wow, that's a lot to unpack. But the baseline is finding yourself, right? It's and for
Ultimately.
you to actually pull yourself out of it, a lot of people get sucked into it and then they don't know how to get out. And then they turn to, abuse of other things, and then it's amazing that, I mean, why I'm resonating with that is because I don't know if you've listened to any of my podcasts. So for me, it was 20 to 30s, my 20s to 30s. It's about striving, overachieving, trying to get something in life, trying to prove that I'm worthy by getting that status, by I don't know, by earning, I don't know, something, just to prove again, where in fact we are worthy in of itself, right? We don't need to prove to anyone. As
Yeah.
long as we're better than who we were yesterday, that's actually ultimately the way we should be moving or navigating through life. But again, society is saying that you need to be this, you need to be that. And of course, like the experience that you had is abuse, and yeah, and it takes a lot on people.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get deeper on that. So the next question would be, how does emotional resilience help in dealing with adversity or challenges in life?
Yeah, so resilience is all about trying to adapt, trying to
Mm,
cope with life challenges. That's the ultimate thing when it comes to resilience. So when resilience comes into play when it comes to dealing with a stressor or a challenge or adversity, it helps you to stay in the moment, try and find things that is doable for you, and so you can snap back. Resilience is not all about falling down, not getting back up. But falling down and staying in there. Resilience is all about falling down, getting back up. So what do you do in that moment when you need to get back up? That's when it comes down to resilience, and it's not about exhausting yourself out to the point that you can't, got to stay in bed. It's about where are those steps that you can take, which for me is all about laughter. I laugh through some of my struggles so I can make light of it, so it won't be so hard on me when I have to, go out into the world and face the world or come back home and look in the mirror at myself. So I try to use laughter to do that. Some others walk, some meditate. So what does that look like for you in that moment
mm.
to bounce back and adapt to your stress? Because life is going to be around you. Life is going to happen. That can't change. But how you position yourself in that tornado, that has a full effect of how you can see that tornado. It might not be a tornado, it could be a heavy storm, but how you adapt to your stressor defines who you are rather than that life situation. So resilience is all about, adapting to those stresses and challenges. And that's really important because we need that in life.
It's easier said than done, though, Yune.
Yeah, it is. It's
what,
definitely
what,
difficult.
yeah. So, okay, in your experience, how many times did you, I don't know, fail? There must be times when you said, "Oh God, I cannot do this," but still, you managed to go through it, and you're on the other side right now. Like, what was
Yeah.
your, I would say, pivotal moment that when you were at your lowest? Let's just put it that way. And how'd you pull yourself out of it?
Yeah.
Mm.
So my lowest was in college. Like I said, I was getting ready to drop out. I was really no good to myself. A lot of sabotaging thoughts, opinions that I realized wasn't even mine. I was just chaining myself to others' thoughts later on. And I start to realize that because when I was in college, I tell the story all the time. I heard a voice say, "I'm doing it." And I repeated back to that voice. And I was like, "I'm doing it?" And then it kind of gave me that epiphany. It was like, I am doing it. Although I gotta stop comparing myself to others. You know what I mean? My lane, I'm doing it. It may be difficult, but I'm putting the forth the effort to do it. I'm not staying in bed hours on end, weeks on end, months on end, letting life pass me by because that's what's going to happen. You can stay stuck, but life is going to continue going. So I decided this is a decision you have to make of being
Mm.
tired of life. I decided to lean into that feeling of I am doing it. So what that looks like is just challenging your thought process, challenging the feelings that you have. What arise when you meditate? What thoughts are you struggling against when you're still by yourself? That really what enabled me to move forward because once I sat with myself, got those thoughts,
Mm.
see exactly where those thoughts came in from. That's when I was like, okay. I see that these thoughts are not mine. Can I challenge these thoughts? Can I look around and see the positive aspect? Because I wasn't looking for positivity. I was looking for anything negative to confirm how I felt inside. So I had to challenge that thought process and say, wait a minute, let me look at the positive of what I can see. And that started building my confidence up to see, okay, maybe it's just my thoughts. Maybe it's not my reality, because that's what happens a lot. Your thoughts start to change your reality, and then it starts to ooze out in your behavior and stuff like that, right? So I had to
Mm-hmm.
challenge my thoughts. I had to stop it and say, okay, what do I need in this moment? Because obviously there's
Mm-hmm.
something coming up that I need in this moment, right? So what do I need in this moment that I can flip to the positive side? So I started doing really a lot of the groundwork to really do the self improvement. Once I started realizing, hey, I'm doing the same thing with all of us. We're doing it. May not look like it because we're comparing ourselves with someone. We're distracted. And we're not focused on our goals, but we're doing it. And
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing that took with me throughout since college up until now is that life could be hectic. Reality is kind of where it's at right now, but how you perceive it, like I said in the bio, is not what they tell you, what you tell yourself. You are the creator of your canvas, right? You're the one who's making your story. So you can lean into what the story is saying, or you can change it. The next step is up to you. And I really had to have that in me to say, okay, Yahne, do you want to keep going on that dark road and knowing where it's going to end up, or do you want to challenge yourself into this unknown that's scary, but it's not that dark road? You already know what it is, but going down the other way it may be scary, may be full of unknown and just the abyss, but walk into that light and see what it comes out at. And if you don't come out on the other side the correct way, which I don't think it's failure. You mentioned that word failure. I don't think it's failure because failure is just a whole bunch of regret, right? That's what failure is. Oh man, I wish I shouldn't have done that. No, go into that abyss, that unknown, that white light, make that mistake. All right, dust yourself
Mm-hmm.
off. That bruise hurt it. All right,
Yeah.
dust yourself off, but it didn't kill you, right? And learn from it and
Yes.
grow. And that's kind of what I took from college, that moment of I am doing it. And excuse my language, the devil got me effed up if it think that I gotta continue going down this road, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of where my mindset was when I started feeling that moment. It was just a seed planted. It's not like I said, it's not easy, but that seed, you gotta plant it some way, somehow. You have to keep growing it. So the consistency, right, is what helped me to be here.
I love that. And it's
Hmm.
like you take that first step and then the next step will appear, right? Just
Yeah,
take that first step. It's okay.
yeah.
And I
That's the
stand by
difficult
this
part.
notion. Oh, yeah. Trusting because we don't
Yes,
trust in the
not at
universe.
all.
You always trust the universe is gonna,
No.
okay, no, please forgive me, universe. It's gonna somehow F us up. But to be
Yeah.
honest, things are happening for us, not to
Yes.
us. Because, like you said, our internal determines our external reality. So if you're saying,
Yeah.
I'm a failure, I'm a failure, I'm a failure, of course you're gonna fail. You're gonna continue to feel like a failure. But if
So
again,
yeah.
if you shift your mindset, that it's a setback, but it's meant to push you to maybe redirect
Yeah.
or you can pivot. And everybody has a choice in every moment of their life. They can choose. So let's say, okay, for example, me, I don't want to eat ice cream today. I'm so good for 5 months, but then today I ate one because I maybe it's a celebratory thingy. I passed something, but then I accidentally finished a
Hmm.
tub. So you can either blame yourself, why the heck did I do that? Or, okay, I'm just going to regulate. This is just a reaction of you, Nicolette, for
Yes.
okay, being away from the ice cream for so long. But I think
Yes.
also being kind with yourself to say, we're not going to be perfect all the time. And we're
Yeah.
going to have moments like this. But then, okay, take a step back and not be too harsh. And then this is what happens when you get out of control. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of it, it's about understanding yourself as well and having
Yeah.
compassion, I would say. Yeah.
Yes.
And
A lot of
just,
grace. A lot of grace and
yeah,
forgiveness when it comes
a
down
lot of
to,
grace.
yeah, mistakes.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you
Yeah.
definitely have to have that because we put ourselves in this unridiculous high standard, right? And we're
Expectations,
like,
yes.
we should just stay there, right?
and
Humans are
and
perfect. We don't make no mistakes. If we make a mistake, we have to hide it because others are perfect, right? And that's no case. That's not the
exactly.
case.
And especially if you have unlocked this level of, say, you are more enlightened like than before. When I say enlightened, means like not Jesus level enlightened, but
Yeah.
or Buddha, but it's just like you're
Mm.
more conscious than before. But then you
Yeah.
again, because you're human, you hit
Yeah.
that thing, the eating ice cream analogy, and then
Yeah.
you remember, I thought I'm already conscious, I'm already aware, I shouldn't be doing that. And it's just having that grace, because okay, probably you're more conscious, but then you're still human, so you're always gonna be evolving, adjusting, readjusting, and having that
Yeah.
grace. It's a every step is actually a journey and also a learning experience for you to know about yourself, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I find it fascinating. I'm at a point where I know myself pretty well, or life in general well. So when something comes and it's a challenge, like for instance, the ice cream, right? I love ice cream. So and here home, when you say eat a
Me
whole
too.
tub, I would definitely do that. And one thing, and I don't have to watch a movie. It's just me and a tub of ice cream, and I'm good to go. Especially butter pecan. I love
Oh,
ice cream. So
I love strawberry
so
cheesecake, so damn.
Oh Lord, right? So in that analogy there, we have to refrain from our thought process. The first thing is to judge, right? With anything, you're like, oh man, I
Mm.
shouldn't have done that. No, no, it was for you to do that. And the fact that you said you shouldn't, that's the self awareness. So don't say, oh, I didn't have self awareness around eating
That's
the
a
ice
good
cream.
one.
That's your self awareness
Yeah.
of saying, wait a minute, I'm aware I shouldn't. Before you eat a whole tub of ice cream, you didn't care, you gained the pounds. You just like, where's the pounds coming from? Right? I don't know what happened, but now you have the self awareness. So we have to give
Yeah.
ourselves that credit and say, wait a minute, let me stop myself. Yes, I shouldn't have. Okay. But now I'm grateful that I have the awareness now to recognize where my shortcomings is at. And yes,
Mm.
maybe too many ice cream scoops was too much. Now let me see what I can do to change that. Now you're on the next course of going up. You never really dipped that far down. You dipped a little
Yeah.
bit, you know what I mean? And your self awareness, but you came
Exactly.
back up. You didn't go far with another scoop of ice cream or another tub. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
find that grace and forgiveness in awareness. Say, hey, let me stop myself for treating myself going downward. I just went down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's life. We're not perfect. So I went down the scale. To the scale 10. I did so good for 6 months. I went down to 8. Let me go back up now and do that. And we shouldn't be so snobby that it's like, okay, one and done. I fixed my ice cream
Yes.
issues. It's not going to happen again.
Yes. Yeah.
No,
I'm not
that's
gonna
that's
touch
called
ice cream for the next
temptation.
5 years.
It's
Yes.
ridiculous. We shouldn't give
It's
ourselves that. We say right
ridiculous.
now, I'm not eating ice cream. Have that in your head. Don't say it's been 6 months. No, have it in your head. I'm not eating ice cream now. So your body's gonna say, okay, ice cream. Nope. I don't want it. Versus, I'm not eating it now, but since you
Now.
got in my face
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
maybe, no, I'm
Maybe.
not eating it now. And if you do take a scoop, okay, don't be so hard on yourself. You know what I mean? We have to just come out of that hole we're going to dig ourselves in by our thought process. Yeah.
I love that. I think a lot of people would. It's like yes, 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 right now. When this airs, when this airs, yes. Okay, Yane, what are some common misconceptions about emotional resilience in the face of adversity?
Yeah. So what I mentioned earlier that it's just easy to have it, right? We already established that it's not
Mm.
easy to have it. I'm talking from someone who's been through it. Now, this has been 10 plus years I worked on myself. So I'm arriving at a certain point where I can say a resilience is needed, right?
Preach.
But in the beginning, I'm like, resilience, I don't want to get up and keep fighting again. I don't want to keep
Yeah.
doing this. I want to stay under the covers. I don't want to promote no 1 foot more on there because the floor is lava. It's hot. I'm burning up. I just don't want to have that, coming to pass. So when it comes out to resilience, it's not easy to have it, right? We have to train our minds to lean into that. And the second thing when it comes to resilience is that when we're not consistent, then somehow we messed up. And I think we addressed that a little bit too just now. Is that when it comes down to resilience, it's not about, oh, I have to constantly just get up, or if I got knocked down, then that's just it of me that, I tried. Now I have to just stop fighting. No, resilience is one all about not being easy. So once you recognize that it's not easy getting up will be the easy part. Because like, okay, it's not getting up, but I know I have to. I know I have to get up. It's just in me not to let this be my last fight. The next day is here. Now it's telling me that I have to do something more because if the universe didn't want me to be here, then I don't need to have resilience. I'll be 6 feet under. So we have to understand that it's not easy to get up. And then every time you have a day to get up and do more, like I said, be blessed in it, be grateful in it, and keep moving forward. I'm not saying take long leaps of doing it, but those are the two things I would say. Recognize that it's not easy to get up, and then the second thing is understand that it's necessity for you to get up. That's why we have resilience. Is because you're building your character up. So we have to have those two things in mind.
Just
Yeah,
show up. If you, even if you feel
just show
like
up.
you don't, yeah, just show up.
Just show
Just,
up.
yeah, if you feel, I mean, I read this quote somewhere in Instagram, on Instagram. It says, if you had 40% today and you gave your all, you gave 100% for the day. So
Yeah,
that's okay. On days that
yeah.
you have 20%, but you gave everything, that's 100% to you. And
And
it
that's so
doesn't, yeah. And that's
yeah,
okay.
because we think that we need to be our best all the time. That's not resilience. Resilience not I'm going to fight every day, exhausted or not. That's my motto, and that's not it. My mom have done that, and I had to tell her as I got older, relax. Self care is not selfish. You relax,
Yeah.
okay? It's okay to say you need a day. That's resilience. Hey, I gotta go back into my hole to regroup, and then I'm gonna come out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's totally
Mm-hmm.
fine, but keep moving forward because I got to show everybody how strong I am. That's not strength. That's really more weakness that you're
I
coming from
love
a place of
that.
void. That's a place of
Yeah.
void that I have to keep doing so I can show everybody. No, because what's going to happen to you is you're going to be exhausted. So you have to understand those two dynamics when it comes to resilience. Yeah.
And I love the fact when you said have to.
Yeah.
People forget that we are human beings, not human doings. We
Human
are
robots.
supposed to be. Yeah, we are supposed to be. We're not supposed to be doing. So
Yes.
it's this.
Yes.
This is of course. Then we talked about meditation just a couple of minutes back.
Yeah.
And meditation, what is meditation? Like, it's about sitting still with yourself. So,
Yeah.
tell us, your experience. I mean, how did you find out about meditation? How?
Yeah. So I was religious for a good chunk of my life. And I would say the cleanest way I could say it didn't fit for me, right? There's
Okay.
a lot of things that I question religiously. A lot of things that didn't work with me internally, right? So I started
Didn't sit
searching
right with
for
you.
it didn't sit right, not at all. And I want to say that neatly because I know there are others that is there. And hey, if it works for you and it gets you to that place where
Yeah.
you can give back to your community, by all means, proceed to do it that way. That's all I want for
Mm-hmm.
all humans. Proceed to do it that way. It just didn't work for me. That's all I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to say. So I leaned into what else is there for me to grab onto so I can move about my life in a way that's more beneficial and more promoting a healthy mindset, right? So with me, I consider myself, and others consider myself this as well. I'm an empath. I'm strongly into feeling a lot when it comes to emotions and just people in general. I have a passion for it. I'm very intuitive. So what I did was, I forgot who taught me the first breathing technique, but I started sitting with myself, playing music. Right now, I'm heavily following this individual called Billy Carson, who's really all into a lot of ancient stuff and a lot of meditation and
Ooh,
breath work. So I started
I love that.
following him. Not for sure you know who that is, but I started following him. He's really great. I started following him more in these recent couple of years, and I started leaning toward my spirituality more with him and other couple of individuals as well. And I started seeing this transformation. And I'm like, where is this transformation coming from? Right? And it didn't have me look on the outside of me, right? And with religion, you have to pray to God, right? Look on the outside of you, right? Spirituality and meditation, right? Have you look on the inside, right? So there's no one else for you to blame, right? It's all about what you have done, right? To cause yourself to be here in this moment. And that's strange for people because, like, well, you did something to me, you did something to me. But what happens is one finger points to that individual, but what happens, right? Three fingers pointing back to you, right? So spirituality and meditation having like, okay, wait a minute now. I gotta sit with these emotions to delve deep into why I'm feeling this way, right? Some of it stem from childhood, some of it stem from me growing up, but I had to deal with that. Wait a minute now. Meditation is asking me to look within, right? So I'm like, okay,
Who
well,
to
let me look
blame but
within,
myself?
right? Even if someone done something to you, that next reaction in your story is how you perceive it. Is what you're gonna do. They can scream at you all you
Mm.
want, but what you gonna do if they scream at you? You gonna scream back? That's something externally, or you gonna perceive?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they got some issues with them that have maybe have nothing to do with me. Now I gotta look within myself to see what the appropriate action is for my own positive, healthy mindset, right? So that's what the groundwork of 10 plus years is. And like I said, humans are not perfect. So I had to do a lot of that groundwork and say, Yahne, you kind of self sabotage yourself there. All right, let's be more mindful when it comes to this, right? And that's what meditation did. It helped me sit, breathe in and out, breathe in what I need, release what I don't, right? And then when I get over that the whole thing is either a chip is off my shoulder, either I come to realize something, or either inside of me is like, you know what, I'm more calm now to deal with my stresses. So it helps me just instead of always outwardly and externally as stuff, it brings all of it into my own bubble, my own consciousness, my own self awareness, right? And it helps me tune into myself so I can tune back out to the world, the positive energy, that positive enlightenment, that positive high vibration that I need for myself because we all energy. I do believe that spiritually, we all energy. So we give out. We're magnetic. We give it out. Zap, 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 zap. I want to make sure on my own, like I'm zapping positive energy because I want that back. I want to tell the universe what can get
Exactly.
better than this, you know? So that's what meditation
Mm-hmm.
is. It has me tune in all of it. Even the stuff that I don't want to deal with, I had to deal with for my own benefit. Not nobody else's, nothing externally, but for my own high vibration. And that's what meditation does for me. That's what spirituality does for me.
Mm,
Yep.
mm, mm. Preaching to the choir. I love it. I don't have anything to add on to that because everybody would be like, yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, Yane,
So, how can they balance personal resilience, you said?
with the needs
Okay.
of others they love.
Yeah, so resilience is all about, right, when it comes to other individuals, is treating others how you wish to be treated, right? So if you want to be around an environment full of love and support, all that, those harmonious, gorgeous ideas, right? Then you're gonna need to have your environment look for that. It has to be, you have to have your surround yourself with that environment, right? There are gonna be individuals that's not gonna mean you no good and
Mm.
there's emotional connections that you have with them that is hard to sever, especially when you built up 10 plus years, 11, for whatever years with that individual. But when it comes down to it, you have to understand and promote yourself first. Like I said, selfishness is not selfish. So when it comes down to resilience, how often are you going to put that individual first over your needs, right? We can
Mm.
always say, I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to be here for you. That's resilience, right? I'm going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. No, 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 we can't have someone bring us down. As we elevate, right, and our resilience all about, like I said, learning from your mistakes, right? We shedding off some of the snake skin, if you will, right, to grow into a new skin, right? Some individuals you can't bring them with you. There's some individuals that still got their old skin
Yeah.
on and don't want to change, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
they're looking for you to stay where you're at. You can't stay stagnant. That's not what humans are.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all
Mm-hmm.
about really saying, hey, I love you. I want to show you what resilience looks like. I want to show you what it looks like to get to the other side. Lead by example, right? Because we only learn two ways, by yourself and with others. So I'm going to lead by example and show you what resilience looks like, show you that you can get to the other side. I'm going to show you that, right? I want to be there for you to get knocked down, pick yourself up. But the whole thing is, you have to pick yourself up. I can't keep putting my hand out there for you to pull me down. I don't want to. I want to be in my high vibration. So resilience is all
Mm-hmm.
about, hey, what can we both do together to bring our own selves up there? You know, that's what resilience is all about. So when you're talking about balancing out your resilience of trying to get to the better high vibration, right, high enlightenment, you're also talking about a relationship to somebody else and trying to get them
Yeah.
to that. Cross that out. You can't get them there. You can bring them to the water, but you can't force them to drink. So we have to have
Exactly.
that even balance of I want to stay here, but I also want to bring you up here too. How do we work together to pull you to a better state of mind? And if they can't do that, I want to say can't because can't is a state of not knowing void. If they're unable to at that moment, right? You have to understand that emotional connection you have with an individual, it has to be severed. You can't force someone to come up with you. You can't force someone to be at a certain point. They have to arrive. That's what spirituality is. They have to
Ooh,
arrive at a certain point. Then you could be on the
yes.
same page. But if they in a different book or a different page in general, you tell them, read, my time and read. Okay, well, I gotta flip the page. I have to keep
I
going
gotta
and
go
moving.
to the
I
next
can't
chapter.
stay.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because you trying to have your own resilience and get your own self to a certain place. So that's what trying to balance out yourself and your high environment, high vibration, and then also with another individual.
And I'd like to add echo on the part where you said, I'm finishing a chapter of my life, but you love that person so much. It could be a family member, it could be romantic, it could be, I don't know, your dearest friend. But we know deep down that they're still not there yet, and they're still
Yeah,
perhaps in the beginning or the middle of the chapter that you just finished. Because you love that, and because you truly understand what you're here for, and that is truly about showing up for the world, because it is in the act of service that we get the most fulfillment in out of life. And it's okay to get on to the next chapter, and we're not saying that we're leaving you behind.
yeah, no.
We're going to go ahead, we're walking the path first, but then everybody is on their own timeline.
Hmm.
It's And especially when you're a couple, I would say, when it's you're okay, you know, you can't be a couple if you're vibrating differently. But there are, and that's when, you know, relationship starts to falter, because you
Yeah.
have evolved to a certain level and that one person still hasn't. And it's okay to leave it behind, to leave
Hmm.
and go ahead. I don't know, I don't even want to say come back, because sooner or later they will understand what it is that you're trying to show through your action, by staying
Yep.
in your power, staying on course, aligned with your calling or purpose.
Yeah.
If you can, yeah. If you say,
Yeah.
yeah, if you,
Yeah, I definitely agree. And relationships is most of the hardest one, especially like you said, when one wants to fly and the other one is stay in the nest, right? It's definitely difficult, but you have to
mm,
understand that what's best for you, right?
mm,
And if it's not best for you, don't let nobody try to bring you down. That's the hardest thing, especially in a relationship. It's the hardest thing. But
yeah,
like I said,
exactly.
self love is not selfish. So you have to do what's best for you.
And that,
Yep.
uh, and the next question is right on time. How do you define self love, and what steps do you take to practice it in your daily life?
Self love. Well, let's see, let's
Yes.
see. Self love is having the ability to balance out who you are with the outside world, right? To promote your ultimate happy self, like your ultimate whole self, right? And what it looks like is, okay, say for instance with me, I'm trying to think of an idea. I think I'm going back to laughter. Laughter for me is how I promote my health. I'm so silly. I'm not sure if you've seen, I'm just so
Me
silly.
too.
I'm very
Me too.
animated. I love a good laugh to stop point my sides
Expressive.
hurt. Yes, yeah, very much so. I would say I'm a little bit eccentric, but I love it. I'm quirky. I laugh at myself. There was a point where I did laugh at myself because individual was so hard on my character and I felt ashamed to be who I am. Now I'm quirky. Like the other day, I snorted because something was so funny. And then it was like I had to laugh at myself. I'm like, Yahne, did you just snort? Oh my god! Like so, I have to bring a light to situations where it was dark for me, and I had to love myself through that. But that's one of the things that I do. Meditation, I think I said that as well. What else do I promote? My healthy mindset. Be with my kids. I have two children. They definitely keep my headspace in the moment. Sometimes I can definitely venture off with some of the things that I have experienced in my life. So they kind of put me right back in that moment of hey mom, you're here right now, everything's okay. Love on me, and that's
Wow.
also my self love because like you know what, I am here in this moment. I have raised two beautiful girls. You know what I mean? So it gives me that confidence to keep on pushing forward. They might one of my reasons for existing. So self love for me also look like writing in a journal sometimes, watching movies, something that'll bring me my ultimate happiness or ultimate wholeness. Yeah, so those are some of the things. Go out with my friends, or just by me, just sitting at the park, looking at the ducks. There's a pond near me that I go to. Just look at the ducks quack, get the fresh air. Sometimes we need to be out of the house or the environment that's putting you in such depression and stuff. Hey, go outside with the fresh air. Sometimes if it's snowing where you at, go outside, kick some snow, be a child again. So that's kind of things that I do.
Yeah.
I just
I
find
love
those
that.
ways to just promote the silly part of me because that gives me to
Mm-hmm.
my ultimate self. That I lean a lot on that. It quiet down a little bit because I can be very random as well. So I have to like be very
Same.
mindful, right, and self aware that not
With
everybody
the
can
right
take your
company.
randomness, right? Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
so my friends kind of got a little bit smaller, but the ones that's with me, like that's Yahne, that's her, and it's like okay, I can be myself. You know what I mean? So just being authentic with the self love. Who can I build upon and just keep really lean on in those moments? Also, self love is not also about the happy moments, right? Self love is all about the moments where you need somebody to depend on and rely on. So where my community at? My mom, my friends. So I have built a community around so I can promote that self love. Like, hey, self love is not wait until you can't cope no more, right? Self love is acknowledging there's a stress in your life. You don't want to get to that point where you can't control how you feel, right? So where the community at of those individuals who can pick up the phone right in the middle of that moment where you can't, your coping mechanisms don't work or is working overdrive now, right? So picking up the phone and saying, hey, or pausing, right? Hey, okay, this is this self love I'm promoting right now? Just being aware. Okay, this is not self love. How can I promote self love? Okay, let's pick up the phone. I do that. Hey, I just called to just get a laugh from you. What I'm doing is not working out.
Oh my
That's also
God.
self love. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Let me just vent
Yes.
this out, or let me just stay quiet
Mm-hmm.
on the phone with you. That's also self love, right? You're pulling up those community, you're pulling up those resources in the community. Let me just stay on the phone with you. That's also meditation. Being quiet with yourself while you're on the phone with somebody, right? That's also something that can definitely help when it comes to self love. So there's twofold. Self love is not all about positive. It's about what you're doing to promote a healthy mindset, regardless or it's
Mm-hmm.
bad or good. What are you doing to promote a healthy mindset? That's what self love
I love that.
is. Hmm.
And the fact when you can sit by yourself and laugh at yourself, now that
Yeah.
you're powerful beyond measure because you
Yeah.
don't need people
No.
around you. And when you can do
No.
that, oh my God, you feel like
Yeah.
I don't need,
Yeah.
it's not to say that in a
No.
selfish way, like arrogant or snobbish, like, okay, I don't need people, but it's just like, I am content with myself.
Yes.
Wow. And that
Yes.
is
It's a
very
beautiful thing.
powerful for me.
It's a
Yes.
it's
Very
a it's a beautiful
liberating.
thing. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause you have such a freedom. Like you're not coming from a void that you need somebody to keep fueling you up, right? Because some individuals have that. I'm not
Yes.
you. I'm not nothing if I don't have you, right? We have to, tune into ourselves and say, hey, take yourself on a date. I do that. There's a movie
I
out. I
me
want to go to the
too.
movies, right? And then like I just
I
want to
go
go
to the
out
movies
and
by
look good for
myself.
my yeah,
Yes.
and then you look good for yourself. I'm not here looking good for myself. I put makeup on, but it's for myself. I want to be pretty, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to accentuate my eyes. I got beautiful eyes. I want to do it for myself, right? Go out to the
Mm.
stores and just be with one with the world. Like, I just want to just enjoy, right?
Yes.
And then on the positive side of that, it's like the headache of getting a group together, right? We gotta be here at a certain time. We gotta do
Yeah.
this at a certain time. Somebody might not show up. We seen there waiting for them. They hit us up 5 minutes after. Oh, I'm not. You should have said that a long time ago, right? So it's just really just acknowledging, hey, I don't have to wait for someone. I can get up and go take my time if I need. I have no realm for time, right? Time is just an illusion. I have no realm for
Illusion. Oh,
time.
Yahne.
So it's just like really just self
Ooh.
love is really just being one to yourself, just loving you, just loving
Mm-hmm.
just the authenticity of what arises. And even if it's a negative emotion, say, hey, negative emotion, not even negative, hey, emotion, I see you're coming up. What do you need today?
Yeah.
Speak to yourself. I do that to a lot. Like, wait a minute, okay. You're not you right now. What's going on?
What is
Are
this?
you
Oh, yeah.
hungry? Do you need a hug? Why are you
Or
acting
do we need
like
to go
this,
to a
right?
massage? Or do you
Yeah.
want to just go out to the cafe and just have a cup of coffee since we are only in the house?
Yeah, like or shake it off. Like that's also like shake off
Oh
what you're
yeah.
feeling. You know what I
Blast
mean?
my
Just
music. Yeah.
definitely the music. Definitely the music. That's another thing with self love. Just what can I do to just make myself feel light? That's what self love is. How can I make myself
Yes.
feel light and just be? Because humans don't be. We're just so interactive with the environment. Self love is like tuning in.
Mm.
Like what can I do? What can I do to be my ultimate happiness, right? Promote that happiness, good or bad. Just promote your happiness, right? Your healthy mindset, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nay, I can see that you've done the work. You, I love it.
Yeah, a lot more work to be done, but I'm really happy where I'm at now because I'm not distracted with the environment no more, right? I do get in my emotions. I'm human, so I do get my emotions,
Yes.
but it's a fact of all right, let me be self-aware. What does this motion tell me? What's coming up for me, and all that kind of stuff. So it's really just trying to just focus in on you when it comes to self-love. That's really what it's about.
Same, same. We're all healing. We're all on this journey until we're 6 feet underground. So forever, forever we're on this
Yeah,
journey. So yes.
exactly.
What does empowerment mean to you, and how do you empower yourself and others?
Yeah. So I think of empowerment like MLK. Like he loved himself, he loved his community. He was definitely advocating the justice for the community, but he also made sure he promote himself and be that leader. And that's what I see when it comes to empowerment. You know, speaking life into yourself and speaking life into others. That's the ultimate thing when it comes down to empowerment, like going against the grain. If it's only you that's speaking up, it doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that you're the one who had the courage to speak up against something that was so negatively or done to your people or the people around you. So the empowerment is really just being your ultimate self in the face of adversity and leaning into more loving yourself. That's why I see when empowerment comes with strength. It comes with power. It's not about empowerment is not about the negative side of just being quiet, right? And just letting things just happen. No, empowerment is just about being in your truth. That's what empowerment is, being in your truth and your authentic self, regardless of what it looks like on the outside. Empowerment is really speaking life into you and into the community.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if you're struggling with self love or you're finding life purpose, the one thing I would start off with is to ask yourselves, what are you struggling with? Right? What is that idea you're struggling with? Because we're that narrative we're telling ourselves something. The struggle is because we having two thoughts. I'm struggling with self love. I don't know how to do it. Well, what do you don't know how to do? We all have ideas of how to self love, right? Because we're creatures, we're a social creature by nature. We got to go out, we do this, we do that. So what part of it are you struggling with? What story are you telling yourself? That's the first part about it. Because self love comes from a void, right? So you're telling yourself a story, you're telling yourself this narrative. So if you're trying to find your purpose, it's all about really tuning into that idea, right? So purpose. What does purpose look like for you, right? It don't look like for everybody else. I think when it comes to purpose, we're like, well, I'm looking this way, I'm looking that way. I'm seeing everybody doing all this kind of stuff. No, okay, that's good for them and their purpose, their story, but for you, what it looks like for you to have purpose? What does purpose feel like to you? What does self love feel like to you, right? Self love and purpose have different meanings to anyone. Self love for somebody, but like, I feel self love when I buy myself something. Okay, if you're externally and that's how you promote self love, okay, that's yours. But a definition of self love and purpose, identifying what's truly involved with you, not materialistic, just truly what's involved with you. So, what does purpose look like, right? What does self love look like for you? How do you want to manifest that up? Right. So I want to manifest self love. How I want to see myself is being my ultimate self, being my healthy self. Okay. What does that look like? Well, what it looks like is when I go to a comedy show, or what it looks like is when I'm sitting down being my most happy. Okay. What is that happiness? Let's start deep and going deep. Don't be so broad with happiness. Don't be so broad with I'm stuck. Why are you stuck? For me, I was stuck because I didn't really
Oh,
know myself,
yeah.
right? I didn't really know anything about
Hmm.
myself. So what does self love look like for me when I was going through those struggles? It was just being in a state of peace and wholeness. That was my what I look like when it comes to stuff like I was stuck, or when it comes down to being purpose. I wanted to belong. Okay, that's good. Now, when it comes down to belonging, what does that look like? I want to feel whole with the community. I want to know. I want to feel like I am connecting with the community. Okay, well, how can you connect with the community, right? That's my own thing. That's how I broke it down. How can I connect with the community? What do you feel your most self at, your most authentic, ultimate self, right? Your highest vibration. When I talk to individuals, okay, what is that? That's the start of me being in college. Wait, okay, well, only thing I know was social work. Let me lean into that. Okay, it wasn't, and that's okay. If it's not that, then you got an idea. Let's look at how deep can you go? Oh, what I really feel it is not when I'm helping individuals, but it's when I'm sharing my story and I feel that impact and that epiphany of how I'm changing the world based on my story. So it comes from me feeling unstuck to me now starting to specify now exactly how I can feel purpose when it comes down to self love. What are the things you can do to promote that healthy mindset? Okay, when I take a walk, I feel my most self love. Affirmations. That's also a thing when it comes to self love. Like I said, the story you tell yourself, what are you telling yourself? Are you saying you're unworthy, right? Are you saying you're worthless? Are you saying that you don't have it together? What are you telling yourself? Self love affirmations. Okay, once you start telling your brain the truth, it's going to believe you. And regardless of that truth, externally is not the
Mm-hmm.
truth. Internally, you better fake it till you get there, right? So I love myself. Although I'm not where I'm at, I'm striving to get there, right? So you're starting to put into your brain these tools to tell your brain, hey, well, if she's saying it out loud, then it must be true. Now your brain gonna start looking for things that's gonna be positive, right? Like I said, to confirm what you're saying. So
Support
basically, just
that. Mm.
yeah, so basically, it's definitely a switch, but not a switch like a light switch. So we have to understand that as well. That progress of self love and purpose it'll come overnight, right? It's like you bake it in the oven, right? So progress is slowly cooked, right? It's not automatically on. I got my self love and purpose, right? It's slowly cooked. Adding those ingredients in, mixing those ingredients up. That all those ingredients is about really tuning in, right? You want to make that cake, right? What goes into it? It goes in self awareness, mindfulness, right? Accountability, right? Identifying your belonging, right? You want to make that cake to be your
Mhm.
ultimate whole self. So that's what self love. I'm trying to get with self love and purpose is really just tuning into, really taking a deeper look at what it really is that you feel so you're stuck when it comes to self love. Because some is like, wait a minute, I didn't even know I was getting myself love when I gave that pat on the back, right? So self awareness is really trying to just really tune in to specify exactly what it is when it comes to what you're feeling stuck with when it comes to self love and purpose.
I love that. And when you were mentioning all of those things, I had a thought like a self love could even be somebody who loves fishing, and fishing means like you're gonna stay put at one place for about
Yeah.
2, 3, 4 hours with nothing. You don't need to do anything, and
Mhm.
it's counterintuitive because sometimes you say I'm not productive, but actually when you are your most self when you are doing that, and maybe that is your form of self-love. And I don't know
Mhm.
if you want to take it deeper, and if you really love fishing, perhaps you can teach others how to, or a community who loves fishing and find that meditative benefits from it, and then make money out of it. No, I am
Yeah.
going out of tangent right now, but this is me just thinking out loud,
No,
like,
but it could definitely
because
connect
it's
though.
oftentimes
Yeah, it
correct,
definitely connects
right? It's like
because
you
yeah, it
doing
definitely
something.
connects when
It
it comes
doesn't,
to
sometimes when you love something,
mhm.
yeah. And it's because sometimes when we think about the things that we love doing, it's not gonna make us any money, it's not gonna bring us, it's not gonna
Yeah.
sustain our lifestyle. But truly, when you when you love doing something so much, there is a reason why your heart is drawn to it. And God will not bring you something that he will not, or she will not bring you through it.
Yeah.
So there must be a reason there. It's about finding that and just sitting with yourself, which is a form of self-love. And also, if you want to go a level deeper, it's how can I make, if you want to make that change, you want to really switch up your lifestyle or change your trajectory. Because some people, okay, when they're in that journey, okay, I'm going to do it part-time, I'm going to
Mhm.
heed to this feeling within me that okay, I love something, but I cannot use that, doesn't pay my bills. That's like, because because why I'm saying that
Yeah.
is because I am also transitioning from my 9 to 5 to my own coaching. So I love talking.
Mhm.
Like right now, this is, I love this. When if you think
Yeah.
logically, I'm like, oh, but my parents would be like, you're, it doesn't pay your bills. Like, how are you gonna pay for your commitments? I don't know,
Yeah.
but I know God will provide. and and
Yeah.
well, true enough, all glory to him, her. I don't have everything figured out, but I have a good feeling that this is gonna
Yeah.
be, it's gonna be good. Like, because if he can birth that idea in my head, it's just gonna be, yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be big. So I'm just having that grace, because some people around me, they will, I'm not just me, and people around as well, when they're changing something, making some changes in their lives, they'll be like, are you sure? Why are you leaving a job that pays you so much? Or what? Do you have the security? Are you that stable? Yeah, but sometimes it is when you're faced with those type of I think different paths in your life, that's when you really sink in and really believe in yourself and
Mhm.
trust that it's gonna be provided to you. Don't worry. Ah,
Yeah, the only scary thing
I think
about
that's my biggest
meditation and
lesson.
spirituality. Yeah, the only
And
thing that's scary about about meditation and spirituality is the fact that we have trouble letting go. That's the thing. But we have to understand
yeah,
the
I was
crazy
just
part
about to say
about
that. Let
yeah,
go.
yeah, the crazy thing
Mm-hmm,
about the
mm-hmm.
world is that the leaves on the trees act just like us. That's hard to comprehend, but it's definitely true that we are 2% different than everything that we have in this world. If you look at the leaves, they're not swaying back and forth because they want to.
They're not
They're
fighting.
going with the
They're not
wind.
going to
Yeah,
work. Exactly.
the leaf is going with the wind, right? And that's the thing we have to do by humans. Let's just go with the flow of what life takes us, right? And see where we end
Mm-hmm.
up. But we have so much trouble going where we're going back and forth with the universe. Like, no, this is not where I want. The leaves are beautiful because it's not fighting. They're just swinging, being vibrant, being green or whatever,
The
it is.
key.
So, and the thing is, with humans, we wonder why we're torn down and weighing down and exhausted because we're not flowing. We're trying to be this combative thing with nature.
Mm,
Nature's going to win. Nature's going to win. So we have to just be careful when it comes down to purpose or self love or forgiveness. That we have to really tune in and be and say, hey,
mm.
this happened for our good. We have to start rewriting that thought process and then really lean into, hey, what can I do to get my ultimate self in the situation. Elise is not saying, I want to be an apple, I want to be a plant. It's like, I'm here, I'm going to be vibrant in my moment.
Exactly. They
Hmm.
just be.
They just be.
And
Yeah.
you don't see the deer buying, I don't know,
Yeah.
trading trading food,
No.
and like that just they just be. And it's a paradox. Like we're the
Yeah.
creature with the brain, and yet we're the
Yeah.
ones that are so effed up right now. So
Yes.
okay. Yane, what is your heart's exactly? Yane, what is your heart's greatest?
My heart's greatest wish. My heart's greatest wish is going to sound
Mm-hmm.
really funny, but it's utopia. That's my heart's greatest wish. Not the utopia like everything is perfect, because, like I said, humans can't be perfect. But my greatest wish is for
My
everybody.
my guest just before you this morning said he wishes for an enlightened planet.
Yeah,
Again, the
simple.
universe.
It's because the universe is going to win. Like, the universe, there's nothing that we can do to stop this universe. This universe is going to win. 100%. I have this novel right here, right?
Mhm.
It's called The Big Breath, right?
Yeah.
And it's where you put religion and you put the Big Bang together, right? And when you know about quantum physics, right? And that's what we are, right? The universe is going to win. Like,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
everything is
yeah.
on a
Ooh,
3D
yes.
level is going to win, right? So utopia, right? For humans is the ultimate thing we should get at, but we don't understand what utopia is. Not about having a perfect environment. It's really just about living your truth, being authentic, right? That's what utopia is about, right? I'm accountable for what I'm accountable for, and I'm going to grow through it. That's what utopia is, and that's what I want for humankind, is to just really be their authentic selves and learn from it and grow from it and live in all truth, not biased truth, just all truth. That's what I want for the world.
Thank you. Do you have a mantra that you live by?
A mantra. Let's see here. Mantra. I do my best to live every day like the last. That's
Ooh.
my mantra.
Ooh.
Yes, because
Ooh.
I learned that
I love that.
tomorrow is never promised.
Is
The
there
past is not here. We only have right now.
I love that. Is there anything that keeps you up at night, or do you sleep well?
My children keep me up at night, literally and metaphorically. No, but seriously, the fact that I can give back to the community by having children, just raising them the best way they can, and making sure that my demons or my behaviors or anything doesn't influence them, and they can be their authentic selves. So I'm always self-reflecting at the end of the night to make sure I gave my best foot forward with being a mom. I wear many hats, but being a mom is one of those that I really, really like am proud of. So it does keep me up at night to say, if am I doing a good job? Am I doing a great job? How can I do better? Sometimes I fall short. I'm a human. So I definitely self reflect and just make sure I'm getting my ultimate self. And just showing my kids how to be human. Like, that's the one thing that keeps me up at night. Am I showing my children that they can make mistakes through me? That's the thing that I focus on, because I want them to see that in home can be yourself regardless of what you identify with. And if you want to be angry, be angry. If you want to be happy, be happy. If you want to just be you silly, be you silly. But the outside world is not going to like that. But in here, I want you to have the confidence to know that you can do and be anything you want. So it comes with me being a leader, not only in the community, but also within my own personal life. So it does keep me up at night with the self reflection of, am I doing that? Am I keeping to my mission and making sure they can be the outstanding, ultimate human beings and living a truth?
Thank you. Okay, last question. If you could create a quote right now for you to leave to the audience listening and the world as your legacy, what would it be?
Look, I have a quote. I have used this for a long time and it's going to stick with me. The quote is, this is a two-parter. So the quote is, age does not determine your maturity, but what you learn from your experiences justifies your growth.
I love that.
Yes,
Wow,
that's my
Yane.
quote I
So,
had for the longest.
beautiful conversation. I
Thank you.
love it. I love it. So, how can people reach out to you, Yane?
Yes. One of the ways you can go on our website, yahnesneed.com. Another way is my social media sites, Relentless Phoenix 00. The zero zeros for always beginning, never ending. And I just want to advertise that I am having a podcast come
Wow.
out. I'm having a podcast come out called Relentless Phoenix Podcast.
Ooh,
It is going to be airing in the next couple of days. We're going to be talking about feeling stuck, relentlessness, resilience, the ways in which we can overcome our struggles, and also having guest speakers on as well like this. And they're just really tuning in to build a community so we can really do the groundwork to reach our high vibration and high enlightenment.
I love it. Thank you so much, Yane. And there you have
Welcome.
it, guys. You heard it from Yane herself. Before we close off, Yane, personally, I'd like to thank you for the work that you're doing for the world and for advancing every step of the way despite the challenges, creating the trails for those that will come after you. For the
Thank you.
listeners that's
Thank you. I
listening, this
appreciate
has
it.
been that one podcast with that controversial name, You're Worthless. Read that again. The juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, if you find yourself thinking that you are worthless, well, you're not alone. But more importantly, ask yourself a level deeper. If I am worthless, then why the heck am I here? It is because your soul have chosen to be here energetically, all the way from the ethers. And for that reason itself, you are worthy and you are enough. This has been Yahne Sneed, your my guest of the day, and Nick Niera as your host, signing off. Thank you and bye bye.